The silent scream. Captain Elena Vasquez stretched her arms as she watched the stars drift past the viewport of her cargo ship, the Stellar Wanderer. 3 years of running trade routes between Earth and the outer colonies had made the journey routine, almost boring. Her ship carried medical supplies to the Kepler 442 system, a standard run that paid well but offered little excitement. The bridge was quiet except for the gentle hum of the life support systems. Her crew of 4 was experienced and reliable. Marcus Chen handled navigation with the precision of a former military officer. Sarah Kim monitored communications with the focus of someone who had grown up listening to the galaxy's chatter. Tom Wilson kept the engines running smooth, and Dr. Lisa Park served as both medic and science officer. Elena had been a cargo captain for 8 years now, ever since she left the Earth Defense Force. She preferred the peaceful life of trade to the constant training and drills of military service. Humanity had been part of the galactic community for 12 years, and those years had been profitable and peaceful. Earth was known as a friendly trading partner, nothing more. Sarah's voice cut through the bridge's calm atmosphere. "Captain, I'm picking up something strange on the long-range scanners." She frowned at her instruments, adjusting the sensitivity. "It's not a standard distress beacon, but it's definitely a call for help." Elena walked over to Sarah's station. The younger woman had a gift for picking up unusual signals. If she said something was strange, it usually meant trouble or opportunity. "What kind of signal?" "It's broadcasting on multiple frequencies simultaneously," Sarah explained, her fingers dancing across the control panel. "The pattern is complex, like someone trying every possible way to get attention. And Captain, it's not human." The bridge fell silent. First contact protocols were clear, but they rarely applied to independent cargo ships. Still, Elena felt her pulse quicken. "Can you clean it up?" Sarah worked for several minutes, filtering out interference and boosting the signal strength. Slowly, a voice emerged from the static. It was high-pitched and musical, speaking in no language Elena had ever heard. But underneath the alien words, she could hear something universal. Fear. "Run it through the translation matrix," Elena ordered. Earth's computers had been learning alien languages for over a decade, building databases from trade negotiations and diplomatic meetings. The computer worked for nearly 10 minutes before producing a rough translation. The voice that emerged was desperate and terrified. "This is Dr. Keth Morandi of the Zilani research vessel Gentle Current. We are trapped in the Harkoth sector. Our ship is disabled. The Harkoth Collective has taken 37 of our vessels prisoner. They demand we work in their processing facilities, or they will execute our families." Elena felt a chill run down her spine. The Harkoth Collective was known throughout the galaxy as a group of aggressive species that expanded through conquest and slavery. Most civilized species avoided their territory entirely. The message continued. "We have heard rumors of the humans, the species from the death world called Earth. We do not know if these rumors are true, but we are desperate. They say humans are different from other species. They say humans are warriors who protect the innocent. If any human ships receive this message, we beg for help. We can offer our research data and star charts, but we have little else of value." Dr. Park leaned forward from her station. "Captain, the Zilani are one of the most peaceful species in the galaxy. They're scientists and philosophers. They wouldn't hurt anyone." Elena studied the star charts on her navigation display. The Harkoth sector was 3 days away at maximum speed. It would mean abandoning their cargo run and possibly getting involved in a dangerous situation. But something about the desperation in the alien's voice struck her deeply. "Sarah, are you still receiving the signal?" "Yes, Captain. It's on a loop, broadcasting continuously. The power requirements must be enormous. They're using everything they have left." Elena made her decision. Marcus set course for the Harkoth sector. "Tom, I want maximum speed." "Sarah, send a message to Earth Command immediately. Full encryption, priority 1. Her crew looked at her with surprise. Marcus spoke first. "Captain, That's outside our operational area. And the Harkoth are dangerous. The Zelani asked for help. Alina said simply. They specifically asked for humans. We're going to find out why. The message to Earth Command took 18 hours to reach its destination due to the vast distances involved. Alina expected a standard response telling her to avoid the situation and continue her original mission. Instead, she received a priority message with authorization codes she had never seen before. The face that appeared on her communication screen was Admiral Chen Rodriguez, head of Earth Defense Command. Alina had served under him years ago, before she became a civilian captain. His expression was grim and focused. Captain Vasquez, the Admiral said, your discovery of the Zelani distress signal has activated protocols that have been dormant for 12 years. You are hereby reactivated to active military status, effective immediately. Alina felt her heart racing. Sir, I don't understand. It's just a distress call. Alina, there are things about Earth's capabilities that only a few people know. For 12 years, we've allowed the galaxy to think we're just another peaceful trading species. We've hidden our true nature because we wanted to learn about our neighbors before they learned about us. The Admiral's image paused, then continued. The Zelani are right about humans being different. Earth is classified as a death world by galactic standards. Most intelligent species evolved on garden worlds with light gravity, peaceful weather, and no natural predators. We evolved on a planet that tried to kill us every single day for millions of years. Alina remembered her military training, the physical requirements that seemed impossible to other species. Humans could run for hours without stopping, lift objects that would crush most aliens, and react to threats in milliseconds. She had always assumed this was normal. Every human is stronger, faster, and more resilient than 99% of intelligent life in the galaxy, the Admiral continued. We've been hiding this because we didn't want to frighten our neighbors, but when innocent species call for help, we can't stay hidden anymore. The communication screen changed, showing star charts with ship positions. Dozens of red dots were moving toward the Harkoth sector. A fleet is being dispatched to your location. You'll serve as advance reconnaissance. Alina, you're about to witness something that hasn't happened since we joined the galactic community. What's that, sir? Admiral Rodriguez smiled, but it was the smile of a predator who had just detected prey. You're about to see what humans do when someone threatens innocent people. The galaxy thinks we're herbivores like most species. They're about to learn we're apex predators from a death world. The transmission ended, leaving Alina staring at a blank screen. Her crew looked at her with a mixture of excitement and fear. They had all served in the military before becoming civilian traders. They knew what human military capabilities really meant. Captain, Sarah said quietly, I'm detecting massive fleet movements from Earth. Ships are coming out of hidden bases throughout the solar system. Alina looked at the scanner display. More than 100 ships were moving toward their position. Some were emerging from asteroid bases that had been disguised as mining operations. Others were leaving hidden facilities on the dark side of Luna. The fleet was unlike anything she had ever seen. My God, whispered Marcus. How long have they been building this? Since we made first contact, Alina realized. Earth has been preparing for this day for 12 years. Tom looked up from his engineering station. Captain, I'm getting technical specifications for the fleet. These ships aren't just military vessels. They're specifically designed for combat against species that rely on energy shields and heavy armor. Dr. Park pulled up intelligence files on her screen. The Harkoth Collective has been terrorizing the galaxy for over a century. They've enslaved dozens of species and destroyed entire civilizations, but they've never faced anything like this. Alina felt a strange mixture of pride and fear. Humanity had spent 12 years learning about the galaxy while keeping their true nature secret. They had studied every species, every technology, every military tactic. And now, they were ready to reveal themselves. Sarah, any response from the Zelani? Still broadcasting the same message, Captain. But I'm also detecting Harkoth military communications. They're preparing to move the prisoners deeper into their territory. Elena checked their position. They would reach the Kharkov sector in 6 hours. The Earth fleet would arrive 12 hours after that. It would be close, but they might be able to prevent the Zilani from being moved to a location where rescue would be impossible. All hands, prepare for combat operations, Elena announced over the ship's communication system. We're going to show the galaxy what happens when someone threatens innocent people in space protected by humans. As the Stellar Wanderer raced through hyperspace toward the Kharkov sector, Elena couldn't help but think about the Zilani's message. They had heard rumors about humans being different, about Earth being the death world. Soon, the entire galaxy would understand what those rumors really meant. Behind them, the largest military fleet in human history was preparing to remind the universe that sometimes the most dangerous predators were the ones who protected the innocent. The Deathworld response. The Stellar Wanderer dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the Kharkov sector. Elena immediately ordered silent running as Sarah began scanning for the Zilani ships. What they found made her blood run cold. 37 Zilani vessels hung in space like broken toys, their engines dark and their hulls scarred from weapons fire. Around them, a dozen massive Kharkov warships patrolled in formation. Each enemy ship was 3 times the size of Elena's cargo vessel, bristling with weapons and armor plating. "Captain," Dr. Park whispered, studying the sensor readings, "I'm detecting over 8,000 life signs on those Zilani ships. Men, women, children, entire families." Sarah's hands trembled as she monitored the communications between the Kharkov ships. They're discussing which prisoners to execute first as an example to the others. They want to force the Zilani to work faster in their processing facilities. Elena felt rage building in her chest. This was exactly the kind of situation that had driven her to join Earth's military in the first place. But now she wasn't just a human protecting humans. She was protecting innocent beings who had specifically called for help from her species. "Marcus, take us closer but stay hidden in the asteroid field. Tom, prepare all systems for combat. Sarah, keep monitoring their communications and try to establish contact with the Zilani." For the next 4 hours, they watched and waited. The Kharkov were efficient in their cruelty, separating families and forcing the strongest Zilani to begin dismantling their own ships for scrap metal. The musical voices of the alien species carried across space, singing mournful songs that needed no translation. Then Sarah's board lit up with new contacts. "Captain, ships dropping out of hyperspace. Lots of them." Elena looked at the tactical display and smiled. The Earth fleet had arrived. What emerged from hyperspace was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. 120 human warships appeared in perfect formation, their dark hulls almost invisible against the starfield. These weren't the peaceful cargo ships that other species knew. These were vessels designed by a species that had spent millions of years learning how to hunt and kill. The lead ship was massive, easily matching the size of the largest Kharkov vessel. Its hull was covered in weapon ports and sensor arrays. Behind it came destroyers, cruisers, and fast attack ships, each one a masterpiece of human engineering and aggression. "This is Admiral Chen Rodriguez of the Earth Defense Fleet," came the transmission to Elena's ship. "Captain Vasquez, excellent work locating the prisoners. Now step back and watch your species do what it does best." The Kharkov fleet reacted quickly to the arrival of the human ships. Warlord Thrax, the commander of their forces, immediately sent out a challenge on all frequencies. Elena's translator worked to convert his harsh, guttural language. "Unknown vessels, you have entered Kharkov territory without permission. Withdraw immediately or be destroyed. We claim these prisoners by right of conquest." Admiral Rodriguez's response was calm and measured. "Warlord Thrax, you are holding innocent beings against their will. Release them immediately and withdraw from this system. This is your only warning." The Kharkov warlord's laughter sounded like grinding metal. "You dare threaten us? We have conquered 100 worlds and enslaved 50 species. Your small fleet cannot stand against the might of the Kharkov collective." small fleet. Admiral Rodriguez sounded almost amused. Warlord, you're looking at less than 10% of Earth's actual military capability. And we're not here to conquer territory or take slaves. We're here to remind the galaxy that some species protect the innocent instead of preying on them. The first shots came from the Harkoth ships. Massive energy beams lanced across space, designed to overwhelm the shields and armor of typical galactic warships. The humans absorbed the attack without apparent damage, their shields flaring briefly then stabilizing. What happened next shocked every species monitoring the battle. The human ships didn't return fire with massive energy weapons or nuclear missiles. Instead, they deployed thousands of small, fast objects that moved through space like a swarm of metallic insects. These were human kinetic interceptors, each one guided by artificial intelligence and moving at tremendous speed. The Harkoth had never seen anything like them. Their energy shields were designed to stop large projectiles and energy beams. But the human kinetics were small, numerous, and incredibly fast. They slipped through the Harkoth defenses like arrows through paper. Within minutes, every Harkoth ship had lost its primary weapon systems. The interceptors had surgically removed gun turrets, missile launchers, and shield generators without causing critical damage to life support or crew areas. The humans were demonstrating that they could destroy their enemies whenever they chose, but were showing restraint. Warlord Thrax screamed orders at his fleet, demanding they ram the human ships if necessary. But his crews were already in panic. They had never faced an enemy that could disable their weapons while leaving them alive to think about it. Admiral Rodriguez opened a channel to all ships in the system. This is what happens when you threaten innocent people in a galaxy protected by humans. We could have destroyed your entire fleet in the first 30 seconds of this battle. Instead, we chose to show mercy because that's what civilized species do. Alina watched in amazement as human boarding shuttles launched from the fleet. These weren't the slow, clumsy transports used by most species. Human shuttles moved like fighters, their pilots using reflexes and spatial awareness that no other species could match. The boarding actions were swift and decisive. Human Marines moved through Harkoth ships like ghosts, their enhanced reflexes and superior technology, allowing them to subdue alien crews without serious casualties. Within an hour, every Harkoth vessel was under human control. But the real surprise came when the humans began rescuing the Zilani prisoners. Dr. Keth Morandi, the Zilani scientist who had sent the original distress call, was among the first to be brought aboard Admiral Rodriguez's flagship. Alina watched the feed as the small, graceful alien met his rescuers for the first time. The Zilani were beautiful creatures, with crystalline skin that reflected light in rainbow patterns and voices that sounded like music. They were clearly a species that had evolved in peace, with no natural weapons or aggressive instincts. Dr. Morandi stood barely 4 feet tall, his large eyes wide with wonder and fear. "You are humans?" he asked in his musical voice. "You are the species from the Deathworld." Admiral Rodriguez knelt down to speak with the alien scientist at eye level. "We are humans, Dr. Morandi. And yes, we come from what your people call a death world. But that doesn't make us monsters. It makes us protectors." The Zilani scientist studied the Admiral's face carefully. "Your eyes," he said softly. "They are the eyes of a predator. But they are kind eyes. I do not understand. On our world," Admiral Rodriguez explained, "the strongest predators were the ones who worked together to protect their families and communities. We learned that true strength comes from protecting those who cannot protect themselves." Dr. Morandi's crystalline skin began to glow with a warm, golden light. Alina had read that this was how Zilani expressed deep emotion. "We heard stories about humans in the outer systems. Traders spoke of your incredible strength, your fast reflexes, your ability to survive in environments that would kill other species. But they also spoke of your kindness, your willingness to help strangers." As the rescue operations continued, word of the battle spread throughout the galaxy. Species that had hidden from the Harkoth for generations suddenly realized that the peaceful human traders they knew were actually the most powerful military force in known space. Sarah monitored the galactic communication networks as the news spread. "Captain, I'm picking up transmissions from dozens of species. They're all talking about Earth and what happened here today." Elena listened to some of the translated messages. Fear, wonder, hope, and curiosity filled the airways. Some species were terrified that humans had been hiding their true nature. Others were amazed that such powerful beings had chosen to remain peaceful for so long. But most were asking the same question: what did this mean for the galaxy? Admiral Rodriguez provided the answer in a broadcast sent to every inhabited system in known space. "To all species of the galactic community, this is Admiral Chen Rodriguez of Earth. Today, humanity revealed capabilities that we have kept hidden for 12 years. We did this not to threaten or intimidate, but to remind the galaxy that some species still believe in protecting the innocent. Earth will continue to be a peaceful member of the galactic community. We will continue to trade, explore, and learn alongside our neighbors. But we will also serve as protectors for those who cannot protect themselves. Any species that preys on the innocent, enslaves the peaceful, or threatens the defenseless will face the full might of humanity. We are not conquerors. We are not empire builders. We are guardians, and the galaxy is now under our protection." The aftermath of the battle changed everything. The Harkoth Collective withdrew to their core systems and began negotiating for peace. Other aggressive species reconsidered their expansion plans. Trade routes that had been dangerous for centuries became safe overnight. The Zeleni returned to their homeworld as heroes, carrying with them the knowledge that somewhere in the galaxy lived a species powerful enough to challenge any threat, yet wise enough to use that power only to protect others. Elena sat in her captain's chair as the Stellar Wanderer resumed its journey to the Kepler 442 system. Her cargo of medical supplies seemed more important now, knowing that her species had just announced its role as the galaxy's protector. "Captain," Sarah said quietly, "I'm receiving hundreds of distress calls from across the galaxy. Species that have been oppressed for generations are asking for help." Elena smiled. "Then I guess we're going to be very busy. Set course for the nearest emergency signal, maximum speed." As her ship jumped to hyperspace, Elena realized that humanity's age of hiding was over. They had revealed themselves not as conquerors or tyrants, but as the apex predators they truly were, the kind that hunted those who preyed on the innocent. The galaxy would never be the same again, and Elena couldn't wait to see what challenges awaited her species among the stars.